Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. Tonight, I have a special guest. I have Bruce. Hi, Bruce. How are you tonight?
Hey, how you doing, Tammy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Hey, one day at a time. I'm feeling
One,
really, really good. Thank you for asking.
good. Well, your smile brightens up a room. I can tell you that. That's for sure. So people always ask me, Bruce. They're always like, "How do you meet these people?" And I'm always like, "Well, God puts them in my life." So, but I've been following Bruce on TikTok for I don't know, probably not that long, 6 or 7 months. I noticed like you did Spartan races and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and I'm getting ready to do another one of those. Actually, I have my Spartan necklace on right
All
now.
right, Aru.
Yeah, my fifth when I did my 15-year sobriety, I ran that. So
Okay.
it was pretty cool. So I'm getting ready to do another one. So I started following Bruce, and the other day I saw a post something about how the gym had saved your life, and so I reached out and honored to have you on here tonight, Bruce. I can't wait to hear your story. And
Um,
for those of you that don't know what Hope is about or what my mission and vision was, in 21 I started this podcast, and my mission and vision is just to help people, just to let people know they don't struggle alone. You know, you'll hear Bruce's story today and it might relate to you, or you might hear somebody else's story, it might relate to you. Maybe their story isn't exactly like yours, but there's something in there that you're like, oh, well, Bruce got through that. I can get through that. And that's what it's about. Like, I just want you to hear a story. If you're laying on your couch, you're in your bed, you just don't feel like doing anything, that you hear a story, maybe just open your door and look outside and take a deep breath and just be like, I'm thankful that I can take a breath and move on and figure out we help you navigate through life. So Bruce, you said you're in New Jersey, pretty cold up there right now.
oh man, is it ever? It's the worst type of cold. Like, ugh, it is in the way. It is very cold. Yes,
Did you
indeed.
guys get cold this year early also?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. And this type of snow we haven't had in a long time. So when our snow came, I thought I had a shovel and I didn't. So
Oh
I had
no.
to wait like a couple of days to get an old coworker to bring me a shovel just so I could shovel my car out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a lot of snow. That's a lot of
No.
snow. So anyways, so I've been watching your personal trainer.
Yes, now recently, I took my NASM CPT test back in September, proctored exam, passed it on the first try. Oh my goodness, that was the longest race I've ever participated in and accomplished. I mean, I'm still doing the race even to this day, but that was one of the most beautiful moments of my life, especially my 2025. Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
45.
45. Okay. So did you grow up in New Jersey?
Yes, born and raised. Yep, yep.
Or
Trenton, New Jersey, but then I moved to South Jersey to be closer to my job.
okay. Okay. So when you said on your post the other day about the gym saved your life, were you in a depression? Were you just
Yeah, the gym and fitness as a whole.
okay?
Like a lot of us middle age, we get stuck in that place, and for me, we all got a story, real life happened for me a lot of different times. But one in particular, one big one in particular, was when my youngest son's mother passed away October of 2020, October 25th, 2020, while pregnant with our son. So
Oh,
thank God the doctor saved our son. Saved her son while she passed away, but then that was the day he was born. So
oh,
October 25th is the day my son Zion, he's 5 now. So every year on his birthday is the day she passed away.
oh my
So
goodness.
that was a really hard time for me. And then 2022, 2 years later, just stuck in a cycle of working home, not having no direction. That's when I discovered Spartan. That's when I discovered Spartan, and Spartan helped me. Oh my God, it was the stadium run, the Philadelphia Stadium run in August of 2022.
Okay.
I I was on Instagram and I saw the ad. It was like a Brady Bunch type ad where it had different athletes and holding all these different screens, and it was like, when are you going to commit type of ad. And I said, you know what? I'm a sign up. And they knew what they were doing because They have on the website, even to this day, commit now, commit now. When you
Mhm.
sign up, they always got commit. So as soon as I hit that commit button and I paid for that race, a switch went off in my head. Click. Oh my goodness, I got to get ready. I didn't know what to expect because I've never done anything like this before in 2022.
Right.
And for 30 days, no training, no guidance, no understanding of nothing. I did the best I could to get prepared for a Spartan stadium run. Right. And I did that in August. No, no. August I got ready. In September I did the race. September 2022. And I will never forget that time because I completed that race in 4 hours and 44 or 40 something minutes. But that was the awakening for me. Once I
Okay.
once I crossed that finish line, I knew. And they call it they always say in Spartan, you know when you cross the finish line. And I knew right then and there what needed to be done. I never looked back then after that. Come to find out it was the race bug that bit me, right? That was what it was, right? It was the race
Yeah.
bug, but Spartan, it was I knew. And from then I went on. 2022 was the beginning. I That was the only thing I did that year towards the fourth quarter of the year. In 2023, I never looked back. I over 20 races. I did my first Spartan trifecta that year. I did a bunch of DECA mild, strong. I did my fit. I did high rocks for the first time that year in June. I cried when I went up on that stage because at the time I never completed anything at that level in June of 2023. I went from there to running my first half marathon in September of 2023. And then 2 months later, in November of 2023, I ran my first full marathon. That's the Philadelphia Marathon, all in the same year.
Wow.
And then the next year, I elevated. Next year what's that, 2024?
Or
2024 was the one year I learned the hard way. I did my first Spartan Ultra, right?
oh,
And DNF, right? And DNF, right? I DNF because I underestimated the power of Sparta. So it was in Mount Vernon, New Jersey, and it was an ultra, and I DNF'd it, and I since I didn't go back to go do it. I went on to go do other things. I paid for a ticket, and then I wound up giving it to a friend, and he for last year he did. I gave it to him for his birthday, the code, and he went on and he completed it. But he was known for doing trail races and all the other stuff. But
right.
my whole focus was on hybrid racing and road racing. So that's where I'm at now. I went to my last marathon was the Phoenix, Arizona marathon in Phoenix, Arizona. I just signed up for the Rock and Roll DC Half Marathon. That's in March. The Jersey City Marathon is in April. The Philadelphia Love Run is in March. So oh my God. And then last year, see, I'm all over the place, right? Last year, right, I did my first DECA Fit Ultra. And
Okay.
that was, it's basically a super big circuit. So you run 500 meters, you do an exercise, you repeat that 10 times, then you repeat the circuit 5 times. It took
Wow.
me 6 hours and about 6 hours and 2 minutes to finish that race. And that was August of 2025, last year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've never looked back. And then from that stadium run all the way up to NASM, you know, what I mean, all the way up to NASM certified personal trainer. I just kept pushing, and I'm still pushing to this day. You know, we only live once. Well, they say we live twice. Our first life and then our second life began when we realized we only have one life.
Oh, yeah. It's funny that you just said that. Not funny, but I just heard that this morning. On every morning I listen to something motivational, and they
Mhm.
just said that same thing this morning.
Yep.
And it's so true. It's so true.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go back to your son. Do you just have the one son?
My youngest son. My
That's your
youngest son. Right, right. So I have 5 kids, but my youngest son's mother, she was pregnant with him, and then he was meant to be born in December, but she passed away in October, and they
okay.
saved him 2 months premature.
Okay. Oh, little guy. Now, were you guys like had been a couple for a long time, or
Yeah. Mhm.
yes? Oh, and I'm so sorry for that because, those losses are hard anyways. And then to, I mean, you're going through an emotional craziness almost, right? Like you're celebrating you have a baby, but at the same time you just lost, someone that you love. And
Mhm.
so I'm sure that you probably, was it hard to get out of that, like that grief? I'm going to say
Mhm.
this real quick though, real quick about grief, because this is what I feel.
Mhm.
I don't feel like we ever get out of grief. I
Yeah.
believe that we learn to live differently, and
Yeah.
that's that, right? Like you just don't know when that grief is going to hit you.
I
I,
mean, right. And for me, like outside of all of this, I'm a truck driver, so I drive trucks during the day, so I spend most of my time to myself. I'm a
Mhm.
very visual person, so before I even did all of my fitness stuff, I did a lot of video production work and editing. So even if you notice, Tam, in my videos, you'll be able to see as time goes on. You can see how I'm editing it. It's not like I'm cap cutting. I use a whole editor and I put all the whole thing because I used to always do that. So now visually, I can see things in my head. So constantly seeing how things would have been if she was here, or physically here. Like all of this stuff that I'm doing, Shamika wasn't here to physically see all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was just a guy going to the gym skipping leg day when she was around. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But now I didn't run a marathon back then. I didn't do any of these things um, then. You know what I'm saying? So now yeah, it's like you can see, especially around her birthday. Her birthday was January the 6th. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that was a whole thing. So yeah, it never goes away. You just learn how to live.
Differently. Yeah, that's it. And so your son is going to be 5 this year, or
Yeah,
going to be 6?
he's going to be 6 this year.
He's going to be 6 this year. Now, does he live with you?
No, no, no. He stays with his grandmother and his siblings.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. And I'm sure you have a relationship with him.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
My baby,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. They'll
Yeah.
be right now. I was debating because I have a fitness event this Saturday. I'm going to, but I was like, okay, do I want to bring Zion? I'm like, well, not just yet, because he's 5, and this one I'm running and I'm doing an exercise. It's one thing if I was just doing an exercise and he can just stand right next to me. But
Right.
between now and June, yeah, he'd be old enough to come with me. Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's awesome that, he has his siblings and all of that. And so let me ask you this, Bruce. Did you go through any counseling or anything after all of that?
No, his grandmother always talked about me doing that, like talk about grief counseling. I just dealt with it in my own way. I dealt with it through my art, through
Uh,
expression. You know what I mean? Through the community. Just this. This is
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wondered because I know that a lot of times, you men, mostly you men,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
don't like to talk about things or all of that. And I do know that in your culture, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people, and your culture has been one that you don't cry, you don't talk about it, all of that. So I just didn't
Mhm.
know if you were raised that way too, or
No, no. I guess it's just one of those things. I wouldn't mind doing it. I don't know. I guess I got set into just being busy and just dealing with it in my own way. It wasn't like,
Mhm.
okay, well, no, I'm not going to talk about it. No, no, listen, Shamika played a really big role in my life. You know what I mean? She was that person that, one thing in particular, she would always say, like when I was driving trucks, I focused on driving trucks. She was like, well, Dad, you can go to school to be a diesel mechanic. So when you have your own truck, you can repair your own truck. She was always thinking about other things that help, because oh my God, if she would have been here for all of this, we would have, it'd been a whole different world.
Right,
So,
right. You would have just been going to the gym and skipping leg day.
nope, nope, she'd have been on me about
If you don't
it.
mind me asking, how did she pass away?
Well, it was during COVID.
Uh-huh.
She worked as a nurse at a nursing home. She had
Hmm.
got COVID, but then it had something to do with some like blood clogs or something. I mean, her mother, that's another thing. Her mother told me plenty of times. It's just so hard for sometimes I don't hold on to the details.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that it's hard. And so, I'm just glad that you found the Spartans and the gym and kind of your purpose, right? Because you are definitely an inspiration. I follow you. I love watching, and then you share, people that work out with you too and train with you and their transformations and things like that. And that's just I think that's important. If we're talking about health right now, you hope that people are realizing how important their health is, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's the hope. And then one thing I was training a guy today, and at the gym, and what he tells me, the main thing he tells me is, and I quote, "Oh, Bruce, I never knew about this exercise before, or I never knew about this before, or I never knew." Tam, there's a lot of people who walk into those gyms and don't know what they're doing
Hmm.
for a lot of reasons, and that's where people like myself come in at to explain to them and to help them understand what it is these machines are and how they work and how they benefit them. Because that's the main thing. I mean, anybody can pay a Planet Fitness membership, but when you walk in there and you don't know what you're doing, now you're stuck. It only takes about 2 weeks before that level of motivation goes from up here to down here, and now
Yep.
you're just giving these people your money every month and you're not going.
Yep. That's exactly the truth. And so I do have a trainer too. He's been my trainer since 23. So he's a really good friend of mine, but
Hmm.
back in Ohio. So we FaceTime 3 days a week. But it's the same. I know exactly what you're talking about because before I knew anything too, I'd walk in the gym and I maybe would go do a couple leg presses. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I go to the bicep curl machine. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to stay motivated and healthy. And the same thing. Like, next thing you know, I'm paying for a membership that I never use, you
Yep.
know.
Hmm.
So and I think that's important for people to know. And it's because you go in those gyms and they can be very intimidating too.
Very intimidating. Very intimidating, and the fact that you're confused and you don't know what you're doing. That's an easy way of saying, "Oh, well, let me go, whatever." And here's the thing about that too, yo. We live in the information age. It is truly a chat GPT away from a whole program. You know what I'm saying? But that still doesn't help with accountability, motivation, being there, having somebody think about you and think about your program. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that a computer can never do that. A person who's certified can definitely help with that. For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually have a girl that was working out in my gym. I did just say was, said to me the one day, because I FaceTime with my trainer, and she was like, "Oh, she's like, I just chat GPT'd exactly what I need to do and da 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 da." Like I said, was right. She didn't have the accountability. She didn't have the motivation. Yeah, sure, a computer can tell you what to do, but I believe. I mean, and if you're, I'm not a I mean, I'm kind of a self motivator in a lot of things. But if I'm going to go to the gym, I'm not pushing myself as hard as that trainer is going to push me. I already know.
Right.
I
Hmm.
already know myself too well. I used to go to a lot of group classes because that would help me to that little competitiveness,
Hmm.
But when it comes to like me going to the gym by myself, I'm going to do 10 bicep curls and I'm going to use 10-pound weights instead of 15. I'm going to do everything a little bit less than.
A little bit
No,
less.
everybody. So I do have a trainer, so that's why I work out as hard as I do.
I know that's right. You be going
being,
there.
being all honest there, and that's the thing, I believe that the gym can save people. You know, it helps with your endorphins,
Hmm.
right? It helps with your mental state, and then I believe having a trainer that can help you with your food intake too can
Yep.
help with that
Yep.
because people don't realize how much their gut health is connected to their brain health.
Mm.
And it's really a lot. I mean, I've researched it. I've been, I love to be healthy. Let's just say that. So I've been really in the health and wellness space for about 11 years now. And I learned these things and the gut health. And I think that's a lot of the mental health problems too in the United States. This is just my opinion, people, but I really do believe it because of the processed foods we have and all the, digestive issues and all of that. And that's all affecting our brains. And
Hmm.
so I think that, that taking your health seriously is very important because, like you said, we don't know tomorrow's going to be here or not, you know. And so I'm trying to prolong to live to be 100 with
I'm down with you.
with a sane mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
I say to God, I'm like, don't do to me what you did to Betty White and Queen Elizabeth, please. Let me
Mm.
live 100 because you let them both be 99.
That's
I want
right.
to be, I want to make it to 100. But yeah, so I want a little bit about the Spartan races too. When you were talking about that,
Hmm.
it's kind of funny that you said you didn't really know what you were getting into. And I know this podcast is about you, but I do want to share this
Oh,
little
no,
moment.
no, please go ahead. Yeah.
So the year before I did my Spartan race, I had just really started working out like 6 months before that. And I wasn't really with a trainer. I was at a circuit training gym where we were groups. So my friend had called me and said, "Hey, you want to do a Spartan race with me in March?" And I'm like, I don't know what that is. He's like, "Oh, it's just a few obstacles. Da, 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 da." I'm like, "Okay, what's the date?" He said March 9th. And I said, "Oh, well, that's my 15-year sobriety date. Of course I want to do it." And it was in Vegas. Well, for some reason in my head, and people, this isn't true. You can find out what a Spartan race is. I was like it was a secret code. You couldn't find out what the obstacles were or
Yeah.
anything. So I didn't even learn them until like a month before the race. Like I had no preparation at all. But I'm gonna tell you what, getting and then my friend that was supposed to do it with me hurt his hip. Super young kid. He couldn't do it with me, so he still came there. So I'm going in this all by myself. Have no clue.
Oh,
But a couple of people joined me and helped me get over the walls and things like that. I only had to do 150 burpees, only missed 5 obstacles, which it was rough. But jumping over that fire pit at the end was amazing.
was amazing.
It was. And just knowing that, I guess I wanted to say this part of it is whatever we really put our minds to, we can do.
Hmm.
I was, I'd never carried a 35-gallon bucket of rocks in my life. And I'm doing these things and I'm climbing mountains, I'm carrying weighted bags, and I'm like, I don't even work out hardly, let alone doing this. But I put my mind to it that I was going to do it, and I was able to finish. And I'm sure you, with your marathons and the things you do, I mean, when you ran that Phoenix race, it was a little hot there.
It was, yes, it was hot and warm, and it wasn't humid,
Right.
and it was how they got us on that one was it was the inaugural marathon for Phoenix, which was
Okay.
dope, which is cool. But they had hills, they had like sneaky rolling hills throughout the marathon,
Oh.
and it was kind of different because like the hills were like underpasses under the highway. So like there's like these little tunnels. You would go down, run under the highway, come out under. You know what I'm saying? And you kept
Uh-huh.
doing that like 5, 6 times earlier in the race, 6, 7 times earlier in the race. By the time you got to like mile 23 is an incline up this hill. You got this whole red mountain on the side, but mile 23, you already running on hope at that point because you're all, they always say at mile 20 is like the wall. Right now, it's all heart and everything at mile 20. So you're going to incline at mile 23. It was brutal.
Woo.
Yeah,
I
he was walking up that joint.
I bet. I bet. Yeah, that would have to be something. So, but anyways, so yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see your next race. And I know that your Dream Fitness, right? Is that what
Yes,
that's what
yeah,
you go by? Is
dream
that on
fitness.
all your platforms?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Because when I sent you a message, I'm like, I don't even know his name. And you sent me the email. I was like, yes, it's Bruce. So yeah, but I appreciate you getting on here with us today and just sharing a little bit about, how the I guess running and all of it has just really helped you to get through, your struggles. And, if people are looking for outlets for things, things like that are great. As long as you still have to deal with the things that are bothering you, I believe. You can't keep brushing them off, that you have to deal with them. But when you find a purpose and a passion, and knowing, for me, the biggest thing is helping other people, hence my podcast, right?
Right.
Um, just helping other people know that we can get through struggles. You need to find whatever it is. Dancing is my thing. I like working out, but I love dancing. Like I love to dance. And I can go somewhere and dance for 5 to 6 hours nonstop. And it's just good for my soul. You know,
Mm.
that's my thing. But everybody needs to find what their thing is, and unfortunately some people just sit and just don't know what to do. And I think what I like to share with people to do is just start out your day with at least one thing you're grateful for, because we all have one thing. I mean, if your eyes opened up, then I guess you should be grateful your eyes opened up, because there's people that don't get to open their eyes in a day. And so that's kind of my advice I give to people. Like, try to figure out 1, 2, 3 things you're grateful for. And then you can keep, people don't think about the things they're really grateful for. Like, if you have a roof over your head, you probably should be grateful, because there's people out there that don't. There's just so many
Hmm.
things. But I think that not staying in the same place and thinking that it's just going to change, you have to be the one to get up there and make the change.
That's right.
Yeah. So, is there any last little things you'd like to say to everybody?
No, yeah, if I could say anything, remember, right? that anything that you put your mind to, it can definitely be accomplished. And also remember that whatever it is, it already happened. You just got to catch up to it.
That's good. I like that. That's good. Well, Bruce, I really appreciate you getting on here. And
Thank
for
you
all those
again.
listening, yeah, it was great. I love it. And for all of you listening, we got a YouTube channel. We're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. Like, share, comment, all the things that helps get it pushed up a little bit. And Bruce's story is a great story of hope. Losing a loved one, I know I can relate to, not in that capacity, but other capacities. And, having your son to look at and enjoy him is definitely a blessing. So we're glad that you're here and we're glad that you're running these races. And maybe one day you and I will meet up and run a Spartan race together, but I'm probably not going to do the trifecta things that you're doing. I'll just, I'll just wait for you when you get finished.
No problem. You be at the fire pit.
Yeah, there you go. I'll meet you in the fire pit. All right, Bruce. Well, thanks again, and you have a blessed night, okay?
You too, Tam. Take care.
Thank you. Shoot. Hold on. I'm trying to. Oh, here we go.